G'day! Today down the shed we're changing out the tie rod ends on the Ford Focus. Tools for the job: you can get away with using a hammer, some sockets, a few spanners, a set of Allen keys, a paint marker. But if you've got yourself a ball joint removing tool, or if you can borrow one off a mate, it does make it a bit handier. Alright, first thing I like to do is put a mark just on the steering arm itself, then on the tie rod end, just to make sure you've got something to refer to as you undo it and do them back up. Making sure you give the threads a bit of lube. WD-40 seems to be the trick. With a 22mm spanner or shifter, crack off the locking nut that holds the tie rod end in place and unscrew that a few turns. Moving on to the tie rod itself, we'll just undo that nut. Leaving the nut just on the end, we need to separate the tie rod from the hub assembly. Now you can do this by using like a ball joint separating tool, which goes in like so. Turn that so you can see. And you can do that up slowly, and what happens is it applies pressure to the ball joint itself while pulling on the hub. If you don't have that tool, you can also hit here with the hammer, which will separate the ball joint section out of here. There you go. With that all loose now, continue the removal. Here's the reason I put those white marks on, because most of the time you're doing this in your driveway. Just count the turns as you undo it. Just being aware as you undo it where your mark was, so that way you can start your new tie rod back in that position. With the old tie rod off and the new one beside it, just put your new white mark onto that and then spray a bit of WD-40 down the threads and wind it back on. And recounting as you go back on. So I took this off 17 turns, up to 3, 4, and hopefully you understand what I'm saying. With those marks matching back up, just spray a bit of WD-40 back on that tie rod end ball joint, slide it back into the hub assembly, put the nut back on and tighten up. Now if you do have dramas and that starts spinning, in the end there is an Allen key section that you can put an Allen key in there and ratchet spanner. Lining up those marks again, just making sure they're close enough. Tightening up that locking nut. Dirty thumbs up, another job sorted out. I'd advise getting a wheel alignment after this, but this will give you a bit of a base setting. At least you can do it in your driveway, drive down to the tyre shop and get it sorted out. Okay, take it easy, see how I'm looking at you.